What's popping and what's dropping? This your boy live and direct in full effect out the 832. Y'all already know how we do. I'm live and direct in full effect with my boy out the 662, and y'all already know he do. What's popping and what's dropping?
Man, not much, man. We're gonna get this all the stuff in the show on the road. We got couple of good topics we gonna share. Talking about all these coaching hires and all this other little stuff and everything, and some real life stuff. By the way, let me go ahead and plug it in. Let's On behalf of Let's Draw on Something with Craig Smith. The Jimmy J Smooth Network has been brought to you in part by Trey Styles Custom Designs. There's nothing this man cannot customize. Hit him up for your NBA, NHL, NCAA football, basketball, MLB, FCS soccer, UFC, and special occasion needs. Hit him up because he does quality service, satisfaction guaranteed. That's right. Hit that guy up, Trey Murphy. He's on Facebook. Trey D. Murphy. Goddamn. And he might do a little something on the holiday. He don't know though. He don't know. But but knowing him, if he gonna join us on the show, he probably gonna jump in and talk about now. Look, but and by the way, shout out again to Trey Murphy. Um, let your hate flow, brother, for my Crescent Tide, because the more you hate him, the more you love him.
Comedy, straight comedy.
So, let's get to cracking, man. What we gonna talk about on this first one?
Well, we're gonna talk about the Manny Diaz firing as well as the Mario Cristobal hire for the Miami Hurricanes job. I'm surprised he even took this bitch ass job personally,
True.
um, because the thing about Oregon, what a lot of people don't know is Oregon has the largest athletic budget in all of college sports, with roughly $300 million. So that's more than anybody in college sports that has. Um, so Miami's athletic budget is only $127 million. So they damn near have, well, yeah, they have double the university athletic budget, and that's mainly because Miami's a private institution, uh, more than anything. But Oregon's primary source of budget comes from Nike. Phil Knight is always willing to spend money, big money, to get the best coaches. I thought Mario Cristobal would have learned from Silly Taggart. Uh, Not Willie, but Silly, because that was silly of him to go from Oregon to Florida State. Let's just
Mm-hmm.
call it what it is. That was the stupidest shit he could have ever done. Was go from a program that he could have sat there and built. Phil Knight, even at worst case scenario, I think Willie Taggart could have been at Oregon for at least 5 years on a bad note. But Florida State, I don't think Florida State kept him 2 3 years. I don't think he kept him 2 years last time I checked. But nevertheless, Mario Cristobal has done a hellacious job at Oregon. Two conference titles, multiple bowl wins, and the whole nine. But I guess he won a new challenge as to make Miami a winner in the ACC, and that's going to be very tough.
Yep.
Here's the advantage of Oregon. The advantage of Oregon is their primary recruiting base is in California, and their other primary recruiting bases in Texas. So they're getting some of the best out of California. Um, Even with the USC situation, USC is going to steal a lot of talent. USC is going to compete for talent. Like I said last week, USC ain't got to compete for talent. You got to compete with USC. But Oregon is going to steal some talent. That's just what it
True.
is because of the Nike, the facilities. Oregon have probably arguably the best facilities in all of college sports. You can argue that outside of the SEC, with oppositions to Crimson Tide, oppositions to host state, aka Ohio State, or shits again, Michigan. They got some beautiful facilities, but so you can argue with that. So they're gonna be able to recruit in California and Texas. So those are two main things. Now, Miami does have all of South Florida. They're going to be able to recruit in all of South Florida. That's a good thing. But the downside to Miami is a private school, you know.
Right.
So that's going to be a kicker. That does not mean they're not going to be able to compete with the University of Florida or Florida State or even Alabama for that matter. But being at Oregon has its advantages right there. So if it was about the money, Oregon could have matched whatever the University of Miami could have brought to them. I guess it's more of a challenge for him, a new challenge for him versus being at Oregon. But me personally, I would have stayed at Oregon. I don't see any reason to go from Oregon to anywhere in Florida. Even the University of Florida would have been a eye opener. We're like, what the fuck? So, what's your
Yeah.
take on that?
I agree with you on what you said, but here's the other glaring aspect on that. As I was reading off my site, newtopiasports.com, and the college football coaching thread, but they call it the coaching thread. There's this saying: happy wife means a happy life, right? It's a saying. It's a saying that's been a saying. Happy wife means a happy life, right? Sometimes. Mario should have listened to his wife. If she didn't, because it's been reported as saying that he got his personal family reasons why he want to go back to Miami. Okay, his wife didn't want him to leave Oregon because it was easier. And then you kind of look at it from another standpoint too. All the damn moving and shit and everywhere else and all that, paying big money, buying big money houses and stuff like that. But he should have listened to his old lady on this. Look, and then I'm gonna bring this gentleman up who we're gonna talk about after this. Well, after our second coaching hire, Marcus Freeman, because Brian Kelly had wanted him to come down to LSU to be his defensive coordinator. He said, "No, let me talk to my wife. I don't know if she don't feel like making the move. I don't know if she said because I don't know if she don't feel like making the move again." So he said when he said he had to talk to his wife, said next thing you know, he said he received the news that he was going to be the coach for Notre Dame. So maybe it was meant for him to go to. Maybe it was meant for Marcus to go to Notre Dame instead of taking the LSU defensive coordinator job. What if? But we're gonna talk about Marcus. We're gonna talk about Marcus in a minute after we get through talking about a favorite defensive coordinator of mine and Jimmy's that rightfully deserved a coaching job. But I think he should have. And then from what I understand, he was, with Cristobal, he was about to get that Chip Kelly. He was about to get that Brian Kelly money that that LSU gave him. 10 years, 95 million plus a whole bunch of shit. So now I think, when I think about it, he didn't put Phil Knight into another lurch again.
Whoever Phil Knight is going to get, he's going to still get some quality. Whoever is going to be the coach is going to be a quality coach. I don't think it's a lurch because he's got more than enough money to pay whoever he wants to pay. So it's not that big. Even if it gets Chip Kelly, that's going to be a good thing for him because now he's in a situation to where he can start back off where he left off with AKA Pink Slip Kelly. You know what I'm saying? So that's not going to be a bad move. He's going to still be able to recruit whatever because right now Oregon is going to be able to recruit itself, whoever becomes the head coach. I think Willie Taggart, and I don't think he's going to leave, but I think Willie Taggart should get back in good graces with Phil Knight and take the job. I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm Willie Taggart, I jump on that job again. I would call Phil Knight.
Because he did good his first year at Oregon, man. Because hey, if it wasn't, check this out. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have heard of a guy by the name of Justin Herbert
or Mario Cristobal. Let's be honest, Cristobal.
And matter of fact, Mario Cristobal has been heard of. He was on Nick
He's
Saban's he was on Nick Saban's staff in the back-to-back championship teams back in 2012, 2013.
but not to the average person that don't know shit about football. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You might have heard of him, but not to the average person. Willie Taggart gave him a Maserati. Had a Maserati basically fell in Mario Cristobal's lap,
Yep.
and that's why I'm disappointed at him going to Slimamy University.
Yeah, and I like what you said. Basically, like
The
what
the
Nick
the
Nurse
puke,
said about
the puke.
but like what Nick Nurse said about with the Toronto job. He said he was given the keys. He was given the keys to the Ferrari. Only thing was he had to learn how to drive it. Yeah, he drove that motherfucker to a championship. So,
Right, he did.
talking about
Yeah,
Toronto, and
so
now,
that was
now
the thing.
they had a setback that following season. So now they're doing pretty. The Raptors, they're doing pretty good this year. So you know, barring little injuries, and I think they still got Siakam and Van Vliet and shit. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm more. I can't listen. I can't with this crystal ball hire. I would have told Miami thank you, but no thank you, and told Philip, hey, I'm signing that contract that I'm being offered. I would have told Oregon, hey, I'm staying here at Oregon. Now, yeah, if you're a single man, if he's a coach, he's a single guy. Yeah, maybe I can understand it. But my thing is this: if I'm a football coach and if my wife tell me that she likes it somewhere and doesn't like where we was last at, I'm listening to her.
I mean, that's but in his case, I get it, but I don't agree with it because at the end of the day, it's his decision to make that move, but it's not the wisest in this situation. This is not the wisest move to make because Miami,
No.
if he do wrong thing at Miami, Miami's gonna throw him out the door. If he don't make no move, if he don't go in there with the ground running, his new name gonna be Mario Crystal Falls
Mm-hmm.
or sorry ho Crystal Falls. As
Somebody
that's gonna be
somebody on the Utopia Sports Forum said Crystal Ball.
that's gonna be his new name at Miami. If he fucks up at Miami, the ACC. Here's the downside: Oregon is always gonna be the team. The fact that they got Phil Knight, they're gonna always be able to compete. Ever since the '90s when
Mm-hmm.
Oregon won their first conference title and shit forever, basically. When they
Yeah.
had Rich Brooks, I think his name was the head
Yep.
coach, and Penn State kicked their ass with Kajana Carter and Kerry I can't hold the ball right Collins. When they kicked their ass in that Rose Bowl.
Oh
The
yeah.
thing,
That
but
they had
ever since
now I remember all the coaches of Oregon had Rich Brooks, Mike Bellotti, Chip Kelly.
right,
I never heard of Chip Kelly till I first saw him back in '09. And it was something I think they won the game. He was being interviewed by a game. He Aaron Andrews when she was on ESPN then. She was going to interview him. He looked over. He said, "Hold on a second. Hey, knock it off." So he told the fans, and they were yelling all behind. Say, "Hey, knock it off." He punked the fans out. He said, "Now what you saying?"
right,
Ah, damn, that was funny. But
yeah, and that was like Rich Brooks basically built Oregon from the mud. But that's when we first started to hear about Chip Kelly and our boy Mike Bellotti and those guys during that '94 Oregon team that got the ass kicked by Penn State, aka Penitentiary State. But
sure.
nevertheless,
Somebody
nevertheless,
said,
that's what I call the motherfuckers Penitentiary State, man. After that little debacle, but that's a whole nother conversation. But ever since then, from Rich Brooks to Mike Bellotti, from Mike Bellotti to Chip Kelly, aka Pink Slip Kelly, on other teams other than Oregon. You know what I'm saying? They're
mm-hmm.
going to be able to get the coach they want. They're going to be able to get a good coach out of this because they still got a decent amount of talent there. So it's not going to be an issue to where he's not just Mario Cristobal leaving. That I mean, to some Oregon fans, that's fucked up. In my point, from my opinion, that's not the wisest move in the world. In
No.
that case, he should. In that case, he should have listened to his wife. I'll agree in
Yep.
that. In this case, he should have listened to his wife. However, it's his decision. But you gotta hit the ground running at Miami. Miami is a bunch of diva ass, sly mammy ass bitches. So, but at Oregon, he's going to be able to compete every year for the Pac-12 title. At Miami,
And
he's got to.
somewhere our boy Trey Murphy is just enjoying hearing this shit. Slide mammy. I like that.
Yes, yeah. But the problem comes in is with them going to the ACC. The ACC is a much tougher conference than the Pac-12. It's a much more. You got to uphill battle from the gate. You got an uphill battle from the gate. So you got to come out. You got it's a whole nother ball game. It's a whole nother ball game as we see it. So he's gonna have to bring it because you got Clemson still with punk ass what's the Crabbo Sweeney, you know,
Yeah, Crabbo
Florida
Sweeney.
State, Crabbo Sweeney, Florida State,
Mike O'Hale.
Yeah, Mike O'Hale, I done fucked up again. I mean, Florida State could like with Mike Norvell, and I give Mike O'Hale problems, but the thing is, Florida State at any time could come out swinging. Georgia Tech at any time can come out swinging. Va Tech, even in spite of them going to a coaching change, can come out swinging at any time. So you're going up against the baby SEC of all. And if you ain't up to that challenge, man, don't take the job, bro. And I don't agree with him taking that job because Oregon if I'm a coach, I'm staying at Oregon. The next coach who should get that Oregon job, stick and stay. What better school that you're gonna go to? Yes, Oregon hasn't won a national title in basketball and shit since the 40s.
The 40s.
They never won one in football. They haven't won one in football in no time. They've been very close a couple of times, but they never won. They've won several conference titles. But if I'm a coach at Oregon, I'm sticking and staying at Oregon. The next coach, whoever it is, Slick Willie might come back in the picture. Pink Slip Kelly
I
might
see
come
that
back
happening. If you would ask me to buy or sell which one of the following former Oregon coaches to come back between Willie Taggart, Slick Willie, and Chip Kelly, I'll buy on Willie coming back and sell on Chip. Because, see, he has a problem. See, Chip would come back, but there's an issue there with UCLA, with UCLA's buyout. They trying to fuck him over on that.
But they ultimately gonna fire him. They're gonna ultimately fire Chip Kelly. That's the crazy thing. They're ultimately gonna fire him. So I mean, but here's the thing about that. Oregon can buy out they can buy out that contract unless they don't want them to buy it out. That's the only reason why. Because Phil Knight can buy whoever the hell he wants to. Hell, he bought Bill he bought Bill Ballamir, who originally who made Nike shoes from scratch as a track coach. He bought him out. So if he can buy him out, shit, he can buy any fucking body out. Because a lot of people don't know, Phil Knight is actually not the founder of Nike. He was just the business guy of Nike. Bill Ballamir was the founder of Nike because he made Nike from scratch. He just funded the Nike. That's the only damn thing he did. And you know what I'm saying? And he bought him out I think in 1980, 89, something like that. But it was initially a track and field shoe. And it ultimately Michael Jordan basically expanded Nike from a track and field shoe, and they would have been a track and field shoe had they not taken a chance on Michael Jordan. And they were paying Michael Jordan's fine for not using Converse because most teams you had to stick with a particular brand. If your team
And
brand was
he
Adidas, yeah.
said that, and he
Yep.
said that in the Last Dance, people. That's fact.
Yes. Yes. So Nike ended up paying the fines. He was like, "Don't worry about it. We got your fine." And that's the reason why Nike is where they are now. So ever since they betted on a big bald headed ass kid named Michael Jordan. At the time, he had a box fade. Uh, Nike has been able to supply with Oregon because they stuck with Rich Brooks. Rich Brooks' first seven seasons was basically losing seasons. It was times where they
Yeah.
didn't go to a bowl game, and then you know out of
Bellotti
nowhere,
came. Mike Bellotti came. They've been back and forth, back and forth. Now, for the record,
Mhm.
whatever bowl is being played in San Antonio, we got Oregon against Oklahoma. So, uh, he,
I got
either way,
Oklahoma by a slight advantage because it's basically a home game for Oklahoma, being that they're close and that's one of their Oklahoma recruits in basically North Texas and
mm-hmm.
North and South Texas. So that's basically a home game. You got North Texas is basically Oklahoma fans. When you start getting into West Texas, Central Texas, and South Texas, that's when you start finding Texas fans and then Stankin' M fans, as I call them, Texas Stankin' M. And we gonna get on goddamn bitch ass. What's that motherfucker at Stankin' M, Texas Stankin' M?
Bimbo
Uh,
Fisher.
yeah, we gonna get on his ass too. We hold that thought. Stankin' M. So basically, Oklahoma is gonna more than likely win that game, but it ain't gonna be by much. But I'm not. Again, this is another toss-up. I wouldn't be surprised if Oregon pulled it out. But it's gonna be a close one because of
Yeah.
the kids gonna have something to prove, and Choklahoma fans they're gonna be okay. It's basically gonna be a home game for them. So but I got Oklahoma by a slight edge. Slight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It's speaking of Choklahoma, Jimmy J Smooth and I, we gonna stop calling them Choklahoma. Wanna know
I'm
why?
not. Oh no! If they fucking up, they're gonna be choke. They're gonna be Choklahoma.
But we gonna
All
stop
day.
calling them Choklahoma. We gonna stop calling them Choklahoma for now. Here's why. Our boy Brent Venables, now the former defensive coordinator for the Clemson Tigers, is now
Flip.
back in Oklahoma as a head coach.
Good.
I agree. Good. This has been a long time coming. Now, Clemson fans, I say the best for last. And everybody's always singing praises. You know, people like the Trey Murphy talking about, like, why y'all like this guy so much, man? Brent Venables is one of the best damn defensive coordinators there ever is, bar none. And the dude played defense. He even admitted, he said when he was on the defensive side of the ball, he loved watching the offense work, put the points up, score and get your ass out there, do your job on defense, and do it all over again. Which I think he's finna go with. He's gonna go with an up tempo offense because he hired Ole Miss offensive coordinator Jeff Libby. I thought he was gonna get Joe Brady since he was available, but I got a funny feeling Joe Brady may be going back to LSU, depending on what Brian Kelly has done. So, but anywho, Brent Venables is one of the best defensive minds in college football.
Right. Learned under Bill Snyder.
You learned under Bill Snyder. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Became basically helped revamp the Oklahoma program as the defensive coordinator and helped them won the national title against Florida State. You know what I'm saying? And basically,
Florida State and old ass Chris Wrinkle.
Yeah.
Behind on the center.
Chris Wrinkle, and he basically helped won 2 of their championships. Especially with
I'm talking about Chris Winkie, y'all. If y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Chris Wrinkle is absolutely correct. But
Who can't coach worth a damn his own self.
but that his defense stopping them at the goal line, stopping Alabama at the goal line enabled Trevor Lawrence to blow them out, because you got to think about it. Alabama made it to the goal line 5 times and didn't come away with. I think they only came away with 17 points, the whole game. So
I like what he
yeah,
did with Ohio State in that Fiesta Bowl. Shut them
right,
out 31. Shut them out 31-0. Ohio State didn't even get near the 50-yard line.
yeah.
And
Had
Brent
one,
Venables and Brent Venables, he coached that game. Dabo didn't have no say in it. Dabo didn't coach another game. Brent coached it.
yeah, basically.
So, and you really don't know what defensive front he's running. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. He runs a 4-3,
Right.
but he mixes that 4-3 up. Now, let me enlighten everybody what Clemson is losing that Oklahoma is back gaining. Jimmy, you ready for these defensive rankings under Brent Venables when he was with Clemson?
Yes.
Let me go and see. Are you ready?
Go ahead. Do your thing.
In 2014, his defense is ranked in total defense from 2014 to 2021. Here are his rankings. In 2014, Clemson was first. 2015, sixth in the nation. 2016, seventh in the nation. 2017, the year they won in that, 2017, the year they did win the national title, first. 2018, second. 2019 and 2020, first. This year, fourth. So, his defenses have been number one 4 times. And his lowest rank from, let me count, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And his lowest defensive rank in 8 years was 6th. No, it was 7th. And that was when he won the national title. No, that was when Nick Saban gave Dabo the championship.
Yeah. Basically.
So,
yeah.
that's impressive. Good luck to crab ass Sweeney finding somebody to replace Brent, man, because you ain't gonna replace no numbers like that.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Whew.
that's gonna be very, very hard to replace. That's gonna be very hard to replace. That's gonna be very hard to replace, man. So, but I think he'll do a good job at Oklahoma. He's gonna keep he has to keep the offense as is, even if he have to hire one of the wide receivers coach or the quarterbacks coach to do so.
Yeah.
So, but I think he'll do a good job. He'll do a hell of a job. So, I'm proud of him getting that job. Long time coming. He's at the right age to get that job. So, 50 years old. So, he'll do well.
He's 50?
Very well. He's 50. I'm surprised too, dude. When I saw he's 50 years old, I'm surprised too, bro.
Damn.
He's 50.
He don't look like he's 50. He look younger than that shit.
Yeah, I mean, they struck gold. I mean, he's still relatively young for a coach. So they struck gold. They struck gold. That's the best thing I could say. And I think he's the coach that could help Oklahoma compete in the SEC. So I think that's a great hire.
Yeah.
Because I think I think
so too. And everybody trolling Lincoln and saying Lincoln took the job because he didn't want none of that competition in the SEC.
I think so too. But you know what?
That's what it was.
I think so too. But guess what? USC is not a bad job to have. I mean, that's a better gig. It's a better gig than Oklahoma. I mean, because it ain't too many schools I can say it's a better gig than Alabama. But you can argue USC is a better gig than Alabama. You can argue that. You can argue that. I mean, it's a matter of opinion, but you can argue that. And then plus their university budget. I mean, you can't really go by their university budget because it's so many directors, movie stars that come out of USC. So they can get it from any
Well,
movie star and say their budget
I
any
I'll tell you how much their movie budget is. Infinite. I mean, movie budget, the athletic budget is infinite.
infinite because that's not gonna because they have to certain schools have to report to the NCAA, but USC doesn't have to because they are a private institution. From what I understand,
Yep.
they don't report their athletic budget, but in my opinion, but as I've stated, they can get it from anybody because there's so many directors, so many Hollywood execs that come out of USC that is willing if they want to get a good coach, they're gonna spend that big money to get it. And I think USC has struck gold. Now, whether or not Lincoln is going to win a national championship, that remains to be seen. But will he win a conference championship? I think I think Oregon and and USC is going to be big rivals pretty soon. So I think it's going to go back and forth between those two schools. But with Brett Venables, I think Brett Venables is the right hire, and I think it prepares them from the SEC. Now, as long as Nick Saban at Alabama, he's going to run into a brick wall. But it's going to be a couple of times where that brick wall gets broken. So it is what it is.
Yep. Now we'll talk about address another hire. If we didn't do it on the last show, because my voice has sounded a little bit better than what it was from the last show, and I do apologize y'all from that. Marcus Freeman is now the Notre Dame football coach. I said basketball football coach, and maybe a lot of things, there's an old saying, and some coaches don't know their religion, don't know how they are about their religious beliefs or preferences. But I gotta say, with old brother Marcus, man, the Lord worked in mysterious ways for him on this, because he was the defensive coordinator for Cincinnati. Okay, and Ed Orgeron, as you like to call him, Jimmy, Ed Orgeron wanted him to be the defensive coordinator for LSU. But Notre Dame quickly stepped in and snatched him up. The reason why I say Lord move in mysterious ways, I ain't trying to sound religious or anything like that with everybody to make y'all want to think. Maybe it was a reason as to why Notre Dame and Brian Kelly heard and got this man, because maybe Brian Kelly was planning his leave sooner than everybody thought. I'm glad that he's on board. He did say though that he was going to hire a defensive coordinator because he said he's got to teach his method of his defense. Because I'll be honest with you, the Notre Dame is excuse me, Notre Dame this shit they had a hell of a fire defense this year, man. Woo. So.
Yeah.
But if I was Marcus, I'd be on the safe side, and I take over the play calling duties myself till you can trust somebody that fits your mold to run your defensive scheme. But he did say he was keeping he did say he was keeping Tommy. He was keeping everybody intact. He kept Tommy Rees to run the offense and all that. I just think Brian Kelly had, and Notre Dame had planned ahead to get this man, because they probably anticipated Brian leaving sooner than we all thought. And well, look what happened. Now Marcus is the head coach for Notre Dame. He's the second black. Nobody want to acknowledge that. He's the second African American coach.
Yep.
To be in that position. Tyrone Willingham.
Tyrone Willingham. So, I mean, he's gonna do a hell of a job too. He's just got to stay on the gas of recruiting. Yep. That's the only thing he has to do. He just need to take advantage of the recruiting class that Kelly has gotten, build with them, and keep winning. That's the best thing he can do at this point. He can surpass Brian Kelly easily, win a national fucking championship. That's the way he can surpass him, win a national title. Because I believe, in my opinion, Brian Kelly maxed out at Notre Dame. He became the winningest coach, but
Yep.
he has zero national titles. But the reason why I think they kept him there was because he got them in position to win. And I think that's what they want this new gentleman to do, is keep getting them in position to win. If they don't come with no bullshit, I think that Freeman, and if he keeps recruiting the way Brian Kelly has recruiting, and keep the coaching staff as is, keep your offensive system as is. Brian Kelly might have stole a couple of people, taken few people with him, but if he can have a good up tempo offense, don't try to do too much extra shit. I think Notre Dame, he can win a national title at Notre Dame. You know
And
what
he's
I'm saying?
35 years old.
So he
So
got
I mean,
he-
shit. So you man, he like you said, your foot on the gas. Don't change your gas grade.
exactly. Keep
Don't
your
don't
keep
don't go from premium to supreme. Well, matter of fact,
exactly.
no, here's one better. Don't go from premium back to unleaded.
Agreed.
You know,
And yeah, I think he can win out there. If Notre Dame have patience with him and help him do what he needs to do, help, you know, relieve some of that. I know they're a top 15 school in terms of academics, but pull a few strings so he can get some guys in there, because that's a hard school to recruit at. That's not easy to recruit at Notre Dame. You have to make the grade to get in Notre Dame. We saw what happened with Tony Rice, the last national championship quarterback. He was a prop 25 player, and had
hmm
uh and had he not got that academic clearance, they would have never won a national title. They would have been waiting another 20 or 30 years to win a national damn title, like there are now. You know what I'm saying? So again, I think he's going to do a good job. So he just need to mash the gas, and don't change up nothing on defense. Your defense is straight. Keep recruiting. If he's, as a Notre Dame coach, can recruit in the top 30 every year, even in the top 25, he's going to be okay in terms of recruiting. Now, if he can get up to, I think Brian Kelly in this era, I think his last recruiting class was number 10, right at number 10. So that's the highest recruiting ranking they've had since the Lou Holtz era, or in the rivals.com era. So just keep recruiting, get the best out there, and he's not going to have any problems.
it's true. I agree. So, but we want this guy to do good, man. Oh, 35 years young. He got 6 kids. So shit. I mean,
Already?
yeah, he got 6. Yeah. Google Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame. You'll see the images. Marcus Freeman family. You'll see the pictures
God,
of his family. I follow him on Twitter.
God damn, he ain't bullshitting. Well, it is what it is.
He probably want to go in and get him on out of the way.
Well, I
But
ain't mad at him. Shit. And
me
and
either.
and here's another thing. Marcus Freeman could have been a great NFL player, but he blew out his knee, because he was a hell
Yeah,
of a
yeah, he said he blew out his knee, but then they said the real reason was he got a heart condition.
right. But because that them linebacker core, I think he played with Laurinaitis and those guys. That linebacking core for Ohio State was knocking motherfuckers' ass off. So he was a hell of a player. I think he would have done a hell of a job in the NFL had he been able to play. But he's doing a hell of a job coaching. So I'm not knocking
hmm
what he's doing now. I'm glad he's been able to make up for his losses. So keep your foot on the gas, man. That's all I gotta say on that.
That's
Keep your
it.
foot on the gas, man.
Keep your foot on the gas. Let alone don't change the gas grade. You run on Supreme. Don't go back to unleaded.
Right. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So, but what we want to talk about next, Jimmy?
Ooh, what's the next football topic? Oh, bitch ass Texas stinking them. I'm glad
Oh
you
boy.
you great
Hold
timing.
on. Wait a minute. Is this a Jimmy takes the wheel?
Well, you depend shit. May as well.
All right,
Texas
y'all.
stinking them.
It's time. Excuse me, y'all. It's that time again for Jimmy takes the wheel. This time he finna take the wheel on Texas A&M for reasons I would like that I don't know, but I would like to know. And it's got something to do with Bimbo Fisher. I got Trey Murphy's favorite head coach. And I say that loosely, favorite. So, Jimmy, take the wheel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's get started. You can cut the music off now. You can cut the music off now because I don't even
Hold
need the
on, let's
music.
turn it down. So you gotta get that in, get that plug in. Go ahead, man.
So yesterday on the football scoop, Bimbo Fisher, aka Jimbo Fisher, was talking about LSU was how much he was prepared to pay for how much LSU was prepared to pay Jimbo Fisher because Jimbo Fisher had two opportunities to stay at LSU because he was the offensive coordinator when they won the national title the first time and since the Gray Ghost.
Damn.
And then what's the other? It was the defensive coordinator
You might
ended
have
up
said the Gray
becoming
Ghost.
yeah, since the Gray Ghost. The last time they won a national title before Nick Saban was Billy Cannon was the Heisman Trophy winner. Uh so he said some shit because he has to be the dumbest human being on earth, quote, to leave Texas A&M, aka Texas Stankin' M. Hold the fuck a minute.
And I remember he said that
Hold the fuck a minute.
because I raised my eyebrow then, like, huh? Go ahead.
Hold the fuck a minute. Texas Stankin' M has not won a national title since FDR, nigga.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Exactly. They have not even been close to winning a national title really since 1975 until Arkansas kicked their ass that year. Because they got close to Texas when they was in the Southwest Conference. That what was happening. Because 75 was the closest they ever got to winning a national title in uh your mom's lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically,
You know, the end.
no shots fired on Mars,
So
but yeah, he telling the truth.
yes, that's the closest they've ever been to the national title in this lifetime. It might have been a couple of other times, but for sure that 1975 team, had they not lost to Arkansas, would have been the national titles, would have been voted the national champions. But they ended up losing. They ended up shitting on themselves, or in Craig's point of view, shit the bed that year.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They
Yep.
shit the bed on themselves and they fucked up the opportunity because Oklahoma ended up winning the national title. I think that year, I can't remember, because I think they had the Selman brothers that year, right before the late Leroy Selman ended up going to the NFL. But the national title would have been Texas A&M that year, but they just couldn't stop losing to Arkansas or Texas or the University of Texas. So you're saying this is the dumbest shit you could have ever done? No, nigga, you had a gold mine not once and possibly twice. You had a gold mine at LSU. Had Jimbo Fisher stayed the course, he would have been probably three-time national champion. We don't know. Even though he has a complex offense, he would have. He would have. I mean, Alabama would have been having some problems. Alabama would have been have some problems year in and year out against Jimbo Fisher because he knows a
Yep.
lot of Nick Saban. He knows a lot of Nick Saban's secrets, and he would have had the talent to match a lot of those Nick Saban secrets. So that was
Hold the thought. And
go
also
ahead.
for everybody that didn't know, Jimbo Fisher put the 1-25-1. Reason why I say the 1-25-1 because Nick Saban was undefeated against all his assistants.
Right,
Will
right,
Muschamp, Mark D'Antonio, Kirby Smart, Jimbo Fisher. So out of those four, take a wild guess who put the 1-25-1. Bimbo.
right, right,
So go ahead, Jimmy.
and right. So he he fucked up. He fucked up. I mean, dude, you should have just took the fucking job. You should have just taken the damn job. You should have just taken the LSU job and you would have a couple of more national championships than what you have. Because you left Florida State. Florida State wasn't going to ever fire you. To me, that leaving Florida State was dumber than even fucking around with LSU.
Well,
But
the
you
fans
saying
wanted him out. Let me tell you about that. Hold on. The fans wanted him gone because they were getting tired, of him. And then he didn't want to make he was being stuck, he was being in his ways, and he was resistant to change his approach about how he did games and shit like that. And let's also fail not forget that his wife was his divorce was public in Tallahassee. That his wife at the time was caught cheating with a personal trainer.
But here's the thing. Do you
So
think do you think in your right mind Florida State was going to get rid of a national championship
hell
winning
no,
coach?
hell no.
So he would have been the fans might have wanted him out, but there was no way in hell Florida State's athletic director would have got him out in spite of all that bullshit. Yes, university policies have clauses to where, and which is why Ed Horgeron is not at LSU, but that would not have mattered because Florida State is not as big, is really not Tallahassee's is 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 barely 100,000 people, if probably no more than 150,000 people. Whereas Baton Rouge is a lot bigger than that. They're the state capital,
Yeah,
second largest city in Louisiana. So word gets around LSU a lot quicker. You know what I'm saying?
Jimmy, let
But
me hold that thought. Let me ask you a question.
hmm
You said Ed Ogeron, right?
hmm
Take some certain words out of his name and spell a school we just talked about. Some letters
LSU,
out of his name. No, out of Ogeron's last name. Take certain
Orgeron,
letters out of take certain letters out of his last name. Ogeron, Oregon. What if Phil Knight? What
Oregon.
if Phil Knight decided to go after him? Cause he knows the Pac-12. He know how to recruit.
That would be something in his lap, but I'm pretty sure LSU got a clause to where he can't coach no damn where. That probably the only thing that's going to stop him, unless
Oh, Philip.
because
Wait a
he's
minute,
got a
Phil.
big
Who
payout.
who but who are we talking about that can swerve that can make things happen? Phil Knight.
Phil Knight can make it happen, but man, you don't want to. But here's the thing: LSU
Legal.
got legally, LSU got some heavy hitters too, nigga. You got a motherfucker in China that's the richest woman in China. Look this up. I'm no cap at all. That could probably be like that funds LSU football. She's a sponsor all the way in China. She's a
Let me look it
alumni.
up.
Would look this up. Uh, Raising Canes. It's plenty. Bank of America is a sponsor for LSU. It's not that many people that can match that's the sponsors. Just look at LSU sponsorship. Not too many schools outside of the top 10 can match those sponsorships man for man. Now, now
Zoe
LSU
Quinfe. Uh-huh.
yeah, LSU don't have a bit as big as a university budget as Oregon, but you got to think about it. If you got those type of heavy hitters that you don't need that to be a part of, they can go out of their pocket and be like, shit, hey, make don't make this motherfucker come over here. He can make a phone call to Phil Knight. Hey, we got a little clause over here. We got a clause where uh, Ed Orgeron can coach over there. They got some pretty powerful people behind LSU. They got some pretty powerful, just as powerful as you know. Phil Knight spends a lot of money in the university budget, but I don't think he want to go that route and legally, unless if they may. And I'm saying they may have a clause in there. I'm not saying they do, but they paid Edge Orgeron a big chunk of change, which most of that's gonna probably go on to the divorce because the
Is this the
divorce.
same woman that
Mhm.
okay, she founded the major touchscreen maker, Lens Technology. Is this her?
You talking about the woman from China?
Yeah.
Absolutely correct.
Zoe Quinfe.
Yes, she's a sponsor. A lot of people don't know that, but she's a sponsor for the LSU athletic program. She's one of the sponsors, direct sponsors. Yep, you're that's her, and her net worth is steady going up. You might see 14 billion, you might see 20 billion, but her net worth is steady rising.
Yeah.
As we speak. So yeah, we're just that's just one person. That's not all the sponsors on there. But you just go to LSU's athletic website and look at their sponsors. Because me and Corey had a respectful debate about it, and he was like, but he's right to a certain degree, but he was wrong to a certain degree because those guys can come out of the pocket and create an athletic budget. They can pay a coach off. They can pay a coach. They can make payouts. But they decided, they didn't want to go through the legal lease with or Ed Orgeron. They'd be like, hey, here go 20, 30 million dollars and get the fuck out of Baton Rouge. And we don't want to see you no
Mm-hmm.
more because they understand that they exercise a clock because really they didn't want him there anyway. They didn't want Coach O there anyway. But
Right.
they needed a coach and they fired Les Miles in the middle of the season, which is why I don't agree with you firing a coach in the middle of the
Man, me
season.
either.
Uh, now that I know what I know now, he is a grimy motherfucker, but at the same time, that wasn't a smart move on a business decision because you got to get a coach. You got to come up with a coach, and that's what they did with Coach Orgeron. They never really wanted him, but they just if he had stayed winning championships, they wouldn't have been so quick to want him out the door. But they found something on him, and they was like, okay, we got to get this dude up out of here. And it is what it is. And then the athletic department debacle that went on with Coach Orgeron. So it was time to get him up out of there. And now they got Brian Kelly, and I think Brian Kelly gonna do a good job at LSU. So,
Oh yeah.
but Dumbo Fisher, that was the stupidest shit he could have ever said because LSU he would have had national titles on top of national titles. Keep a good defensive coordinator, and you're gonna win because one of
Mm-hmm.
those years, Les Miles had the number one recruiting class in all of the nation, which is the only other team in the nation outside of Georgia to have the number one recruiting class in the last 10 years. Because Alabama's has been number one forever and a day, but the only other school is LSU. So, uh, so he would have been able to recruit. So you're saying leaving Texas A&M is the dumbest thing. He's either talking about money or he's just lost in the
I
shuffle.
say
I
I
take the
say he both. I say he both. Money I can understand, but Jimbo kind of lost in the sauce. That's why I
yeah
say some of these coaches are out of touch with a whole lot of shit. Some.
right.
I give it to Nick Saban. Nick Saban currently hip to a whole lot of shit, man. You know
Right.
what with some clips which you don't find out about, which you don't like with his press conferences and everything. He be talking about he talk about a whole lot of shit like with the protests and all. And what year the protests happened? What
Last,
20? What year?
you ain't talking about last year's protest,
No,
or
with the kneeling and all that shit.
2016.
Oh yeah, 2016. He rolled with Kaepernick on that.
Right.
You know, I mean, damn. You know, he's man, and then the shit that happened with and then it was one press conference Saban had on. He said he said, man, I really don't feel like talking about football right now. He said because if you all need to, you know, he said he was like, you know, there is a real there is a real world out there besides football and everything else. George Floyd.
Right.
He said,
Right.
man, he said he said he'd never been so disgusted. He was never so disgusted in his life. And then they wanted to try to ease off the conference, but the thing about football, he stuck with that.
Right.
I give it to Nick on that, man. Like a lot of folks want to say shit about Nick Saban racist, this and that. No, he ain't racist. That man's socially aware. If he was racist, he wouldn't have a whole bunch of he wouldn't have no blacks on his team.
Well, it would have been it would be hard to do that, but I don't, it's nothing in proof that he is. I'll say that. Is no proof that he is as far as I'm concerned.
You
You
know,
know.
I the way I but he
It,
publicly acknowledged that he's not. You know, he shit.
yeah, well,
he's socially aware. You know what the
I,
fuck
I'll
going on.
I'll say that. I agree with that, but with because look at
Well, he
Dabo
said with the
Sweeney.
joy.
Look at Dabo
You
Sweeney.
see that's the difference.
Look at Dabo Sweeney, but I'm not saying
Yeah,
he is. I'm not saying he is because I can't prove that. Nobody can. So, I'm not gonna put a
because
yeah, I'm not gonna
when
put a
Nick
picture
said what
on.
he said about the George Floyd thing, he said that was the most disgusting. He said that disgusted me. I like damn. Ooh,
Yeah. But
yeah, it
but
yeah
nevertheless,
yeah. I sent the picture of it. That's her.
yeah. I'm familiar with that. I'm familiar with her, so but nevertheless, man, d- I think Dumbo Fisher dropped the ball.
Yep.
Fucking A&M has not competed for a title or got close to winning a title since fucking Bubba Bean was the damn running back
Are they even in
uh,
a fucking bowl? Hold on.
I think so. I think they're one of the teams that's in that bitch in the 2021. They're bowl eligible versus Pump Fake Forest. Yeah,
Okay.
8-4. Yeah,
Yeah.
Pump Fake
I
Forest. Yeah.
call fake force. That's what they is. Fake force.
Yeah, but I mean, you could have used LSU, that talent out of Louisiana and South Texas. You could have been using that. I mean, you got talent in A&M, but if I'm gonna compare apples to orange in university budget, come on, man. I mean, bro, that was a dumb thing to say. That was
Yep.
not a wise thing to say under any circumstances. Cause I mean, bro, you had a gold mine. You had the opportunity to do what you need to do, man. So it's silly, man, for him to even say that shit.
True.
Silly, it's silly, man. Cause dude, y'all haven't been close to even thinking about a championship in ages. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
Yep.
It is what it
Man.
is.
All right. I pulled up a well, it's on my end, but I'm gonna ask this question on here from the mailbag. It's for the Let's Draw on something. I got a buy, sell, or rent question, and it's targeted at me, but then in turn, Jimmy, I'm gonna ask you the same question too. Okay.
Okay.
All right. This question comes from Will. He lives in He gave us that email address. He said he currently lives in Florida. He said, "What's going on, Craig and Jimmy? I listen to you guys." He said, "I listen to you guys most of the time when you guys are available on YouTube with your live streams. I understand that life can get in the way at times when you guys putting out content." Said, but I have a three type. I have a buy, sell, or rent question for Craig. He said Craig has been on his shows that talked about all of it in various cities that he lived in. And you could tell he's a true Chicagoan at heart. Him being born and raised in Chicago, his displeasure of living in Memphis, and then his quick stint, his brief 3-year stint in Huntsville. So Craig, I like to ask you now: buy, sell, or rent? Which one of the following cities that you would most likely move back to? Huntsville, Chicago, or Memphis? Oh, that's a no-brainer, Will. And the answer is gonna shock some. I'm buying on Huntsville. As far as me going back to live, there've been living cities going to live to out of the three. I'm buying on Huntsville. I'm gonna explain that reason in a minute. Even though I love my home. I'm Chicagoan at heart. Fuck everybody that say otherwise. I never forget where I come from. I'm at the sale on Chicago, and I'm going to rent Memphis. The reason why I say I'm buying on Huntsville is because Huntsville kind of reminds me of Chicago. You know, now granted, at the time when I moved to Alabama did have some little fucked up ass what's it like their working ways and shit like that. Because if you wanted to make more money, I basically had to drive 45 minutes across the state line to Tennessee, like Fayetteville, Tennessee, to make some money when I first moved there. That's when I was working in Goodman Manufacturing. So they're closed now. And my last job in Huntsville was at Cintas, and I was making over $14 an hour. Okay. I say I want to move back. I say the reason being why that I would live back in Huntsville is because, yeah, a lot of things remind me of Chicago. True enough, you got to have a car to get to where you need to go. But the cost of living is fucking cheap.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And it still is.
Yeah.
It still is. So, and like I said, and in the future show, Jimmy, he's gonna do a Let's Draw Some takeover discuss about my time in Huntsville.
Right.
It's gonna be pretty interesting.
Right.
You know, like I said, the cost of living is pretty cheap. It's affordable. I'll give you a good example. My ex-wife and I, we lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. A 2-bedroom, two bedroom, 1 bath apartment. Normally, apartments like that in Chicago and Memphis will range you for about like your monthly, about damn near about a fourth of your monthly income, just about.
Right.
That motherfucker I lived in was $562 a month.
Right.
And it wasn't no cramped up. It wasn't nothing spacious or nothing. Hey, it was roomy. I'll go back to living in apartments again. They were the Warren House apartments, but off of I'll tell y'all the address. Look it up. 555 Executive Drive, Huntsville, Alabama 35816. Executive Drive Northwest. Cause see, that's what they always put on there with Huntsville. That's another thing I did learn. You got Northwest, Southwest. So I always just went by 5. So my old address was 555 Executive Drive Northwest, Huntsville, Alabama 35816. So they changed the names to them now. They were known as the Warren House Apartments, but they changed the names to them now. But yeah, I buy on that. And then plus another thing that reminded me of Chicago with Huntsville. Little kids out fucking side playing at 11 o'clock in the 11 and 11:30 in the morning. Last time I seen some shit like that happen was when I was growing up in Chicago. We did it. But if it was too damn cold for us to be playing outside, we didn't go. We didn't go outside to play. We stayed at the house.
Right.
Okay, now I got the buy out the way. So yeah, I'll buy on me going back to Huntsville to live. I got to sell in my hometown, Chicago. I love it to death. I can say I'm a patriot for my city at heart, but y'all got too much shit going on up there.
Yeah.
There's too
Then
much
the
shit
cost
going
of
on up there.
then cost of living is a
Cost
motherfucker
of
too.
cost of living is a motherfucker. Uh, Shout out to my art protege Davier Holmes. He lives up there now. He told me he said, man, but see, he has to be up there because he's getting ready to get his master's because he's going to DePaul University.
Yeah.
So damn, Davier, dude, you're gonna be 25 years old next year.
Interesting.
Whew.
That is interesting.
Wow, I watched this kid grow up, man. That I met him when he was 11.
Right.
Wow.
That's interesting.
But yeah, but he I ain't breaking down crying. It's just like, wow, kids that's not yours, you're making yours, you just watch them grow up no matter how old they were, you know. But
Right.
he even said that he said, Craig, he said, man, I see it. He loves the food though. He loves Chicago food.
Right.
But he said, man,
No,
hands
Chicago
down,
food
is
is
hands down the best.
yeah, is yeah, I have to say that. And I'm in Houston, and we got some pretty good food here. But yeah, I mean, yeah, they got the best. If you talk
Yeah,
about cities over, I say the cities over a million people, they got the best out of all those cities. I would say that out of
yeah.
cities over a million people, they definitely, uh, yeah,
Yeah, but I have to settle on Chicago because, like Jimmy said, the cost of living alone, and they got too much shit going on up there.
yeah, a lot of
But
shit
but if
going.
I but yeah, but if I was to travel my way back up there, man, I'll know my way around. Find my old school, my old neighborhoods. I know my old address from my old neighborhoods: 1475 West 72nd. Look it up. 135 West 113th Place. Look it up. But it's a duplex apartment, but it's abandoned now. 308 West 106th Place. Somebody's living in the house now. You know, but Chicago, yeah, that I'll have to sell that because of the cost of living alone. And last but not least, I said I'll rent Memphis, and here's why. Jimmy, I gotta ask you buy, sell, or rent question. Out of the cities you live in, which one would you want to buy to go back to? Which one do you want to buy, rent, or sell? Houston,
I've
Memphis,
only
or a third city, or a third city that we don't know about.
Well, these are the only two cities I've been in, so I don't ever plan on leaving in Houston. I'm gonna be honest with you.
So you
I don't
buying
ever
on
plan.
Houston?
Hands down, I ain't renting Memphis. I ain't fucking with Memphis. I mean, all due respect to my people that I fuck with out there, but I ain't. No. I'm staying in Houston. And if I move anywhere else, it would probably be Dallas, but that's probably when I get old. But other than that, I ain't.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving here. You would have to flood this whole goddamn city before I leave this motherfucker. I'm
And
gonna be
yeah,
honest
and
with
you
you.
notice I didn't give answers to why I rent Memphis. I mean, and I could, cause I was gonna be honest with y'all. I don't have get too many good things to say about Memphis.
No, it's just too much shit going on out here, man.
I don't have too many good things to say about Memphis. I lived that further down south, but I guess you can count South Haven as a part of Memphis, but
Memphis,
it's just, huh?
Memphis area, yeah, Memphis area.
Yeah, South Haven is part of the Memphis area, but not part of Memphis. It's the Memphis area. I work in
Yeah,
the Memphis area, but I don't have not too many good things to say about Memphis.
I mean, I don't
But
either.
but I will say this: there's Jimmy. You want to know what's worse than you want to know what's more worse than one Memphian?
What?
It's two.
That's comedy.
So
Yeah, and
I don't, and Jimmy and I, hey, Memphis. I wasn't born and raised in Memphis. My mom was. My mom aptly said it best. And if you want to, and if people want to feel it, since this is on Facebook, and if folks feeling froggy, they want to attack my mom. Let me tell you something. She got better things to do than to be attacked because her clapback game is. A lot of people don't know my mom's clapback game is strong. It ain't as back in the day it was strong, but it ain't as. She's a little bit more lenient with it now. But if you attack her, but she said this about Memphis. I advise you not to, because she made the most historical statement ever to this day about Memphis. She said she don't consider Memphis a city. Only in the state of Memphis, Tennessee. She was being funny, but true.
yeah, I mean, and then what's crazy about Memphis motherfuckers? They swear they know every damn thing, but ain't never went to South Haven, much less out of the city of Memphis. Like, cause I was having a debate. I wouldn't even call it a debate because this motherfucker just simply didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. They was like, well, every after this young Dolph situation that had popped off, which I think is very sketchy. That situation is very sketchy.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you why it's very sketchy. Because here's the crazy thing, and people may disagree with me on this. I think the police department is behind that. Because first of all, where young Dolph got killed, first of all, there's two cameras right there. They were able to actually see the car and the dudes that actually committed the murder. But here's also where it gets sketchy. If a nigga from Memphis, just a simple hating ass nigga, don't get it twisted. It's hating ass niggas in Memphis. But if it was a hating ass
Emphasis
nigga,
on the word hating.
yeah, emphasis on the word hating. If it was just a hating ass nigga from Memphis, somebody would have been snitched on his ass. Let's not forget, Memphis was on the first 48. And every time you look on the first 48 Memphis, a motherfucker's always goddamn snitching.
Yep.
It's too many snitching ass. Memphis is the snitch capital in the United States. If a nigga from Chicago do something, you gonna have to go in the cameras to catch their asses. You have to go to the nigga
That's
shit,
true.
CPD camera to catch one of them niggas. But at
I love to
Memphis,
see the
you don't
first
even
48
need
of
no
Chicago.
yeah,
Bruh,
but if
I would
you
say
don't
tuned
need,
in first 48. I would love to see them in Chicago.
but I think Memphis is the police department, the FBI is behind that shit because niggas snitch too much in Memphis. A nigga will snitch on their damn mama. A nigga will, man, a
Yeah,
nigga will
you
tell
know
you.
what? Wait. Hold that thought. Hold on. I was let me give a shout out to my wife. Let me give a shout out to my ex-wife. Oh, Tracy down there in Huntsville / Decatur now. Because what you basically just said was the same fucking thing she said. Because she said the news of young Dolph got there to Decatur. That was breaking news up there in Decatur.
Right.
Everything what you just said was what she said, what she theorized.
Right. Because think about it, bro. Man, you can if a
And
nigga
I
tell
even
you
told everybody, and even the guy and I we was discussing it at work. I said, man, that shit was a setup hit. That was a hit. But set up by somebody that we don't want to know about.
Exactly. Because people point the finger at Yo Gotti. I'm like, bro, that wouldn't make sense. Because first of all, that man got too much to lose to even do some stupid ass shit. like that.
Right.
So I dismiss him out. I rule him out. But the thing about that situation is many snitches. A dude will tell you to go rob a bank and will snitch on you as you robbing that bank. That's how grimy and snitch. That's how Memphis is the snitch capital of the world. I'm saying that shit like here on air. I don't think it's just no. A lot of people in Memphis talking about it's just a random hating ass nigga. No, nigga. It make sense, nigga. We gonna act like we just didn't see the first 48 where every time that person get in on an interrogation room that they not snitching all the damn time. Make it make sense, bro. It's beyond what we know, and we probably never gonna find a killer. Let's be honest about that. And then they shoot up a black business, and a person that's a gangster, unless the black business owe somebody. A hood niggas that's not gonna randomly shoot up a black business. Shoot somebody at a black business because he know the block is hot. Then you got to think about it. Airways is right down the street from fucking the airport. Yep. So the police gonna come fast as hell from Airways. That don't make. We gotta make sense of shit. Now I could be wrong. It's two left shoes. I could be wrong about this two left shoes. I hope they find the people if it's not beyond what we know about. But they haven't caught these motherfuckers in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever.
That's what I'm saying. I always say, make it make sense. I said, man, and stuff people always say. Because I got to make a run. Hold on. Because I got to make a run here, warm up, rest of my burrito up I got from Chipotle.
Handle your business. Handle your business.
But what I said was always this. I said, man, make stuff, like people be telling me some stupid shit. I'm like, okay, what you just told me makes about as much sense as somebody trying to run the 40-yard sprint with two left shoes on.
Right.
Come on, it don't make sense.
Right.
And you ain't lying, Jimmy. I mean, this is the most grimiest, and as they say in professional wrestling, my boy Murph said it best. I'm the ultimate heat magnet. I am. And I'm going to say this. There ain't nothing, and Jimmy, you may agree, there ain't nothing no good that has ever come from this filthy, white trash, backwards ass, corrupt city council in the state of Memphis, Tennessee.
Well, I wouldn't say it's nothing good that ain't come out of it, but motherfuckers that is some good in Memphis, they leave this motherfucker. Let's just put it like that.
Okay,
they leave,
but it's the snitches. It's the snitches that make the state of Memphis, Tennessee, grimy as hell. Somebody like you said, they'll snitch on. They'll be like you said, they'll snitch on their own mom about something. God forbid if something happened to my mom, they looking right at who the motherfucker shot and killed the motherfucker. We ain't see nothing. You was standing there.
Exactly. Motherfuckers will snitch on their own brother, sister, whoever. They will tell you, man, I pay you $1 million to go rob that bank, and a snitch right on them. That's how grimy these people is out there, man.
You remember that Mike F sketch about the snitching dude? He talking about I ain't no snitch, I'm an informant.
Yeah, that was funny as hell.
But he telling the truth though. That man went so far to snitch on his own, ain't he?
Comedy, bro. But no, man. Nevertheless, man, this city, the city of Memphis, the state of Memphis, whatever you want to call it, it's ridiculous, bro. So I think it's just too many crazy shit there. I think it's too many red flags there to where I just think it's just a random hating ass dude. But no, I don't. I think it's beyond what we think about. And people be like, well, stuff in Memphis happen in every city. No, it don't. San Jose, California don't have nowhere near the crime, and you got 1.2 million people in San Jose, California. They don't have Minneapolis, contrary to the George Floyd situation. They don't. I got whole neighborhoods in this big ass city of Houston that have more crime than all of Minneapolis, St. Paul. So every city is not the same. The shit that goes on in Memphis, you can't do in Los Angeles. You can't even do some of the shit that happens. It's grimy people in Chicago too, but
Yeah.
the snitch shit, it's nowhere near the snitches that you snitch on somebody in Chicago if you want to. You're gonna be in the Chicago River some fucking where. You can't do that
No,
shit.
I always say no. I always said the problems are settled in the back of the alley.
Exactly. You
You
ain't
find
nowhere.
yourself. I told one dude I worked at FedEx. I said, "Man, you better thank God you not living in Chicago with me because the way you talking shit to me right now, your ass be waking up in the fucking alley butt naked,
Exactly. And
cut up with all that garbage juice on the ground seeping in your body.
right. Because a person from
They don't
Chicago,
play about that shit up there, man.
they're gonna warn you. They're gonna give you a fair warning. They're gonna give you, and they're gonna tell you one time, and they're gonna deal with your ass. It's grimy people in Chicago, but man, I've met people from Detroit, Cleveland, and we talking about discluding Chicago. Detroit and Cleveland is a raggedy ass city too. But
Mm-hmm.
motherfuckers come down to Memphis and they was like, hell no, this Cleveland ain't remotely like this motherfucker.
Mm-mm.
It ain't even remotely like it's raggedy as hell. Don't get it twisted, but it ain't remote. You can't do the shit and you can't do the same thing in Cleveland that you do in Memphis. It just can't happen.
Right.
It's just not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Every city has a ghetto. You know, for the most part, I'll actually say, let me preface this. Every metropolitan area has a ghetto. Some
Mm-hmm.
ghettos are worse than others. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, the shit you do in Memphis, you can't do in Houston. The shit you do in Houston, you can't do in New York City. It's certain things you just cannot do. Every city is not the same. And we got motherfuckers that always say this shit. Well, my family members said it is like, no, it's not, bro. I've traveled. You're talking to a person that's traveled to most of at least 7 of the 10 major cities, million populated cities, population of over 1 million people. I've traveled to these places. They're nowhere
Mm-hmm.
near like Memphis. New York City is night and day compared to Memphis. Miami, Florida is night and day compared to Memphis. Yes,
Thank you.
they have hoods, they have grimy parts of Miami, but it's night and day. You're not gonna tell no motherfucker from Miami that this is just like Memphis. No, you might go to Miami Gardens. That's a version of Memphis, but you're not gonna. I tell people in Houston all the time. You put every hood in Houston, that's Memphis, Tennessee, right there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, we got a
That's
live NFL update. The Vikings kicking the Steelers ass 16-0.
in where is this at?
They in Minneapolis.
Well, they there's no way they should be losing to the Vikings, but this is Ben Recklessburger's last hurrah, and
Put that in quotes.
you know,
I'm not buying that.
yeah, supposedly. And let me because it's nothing confirmed, but he should retire, bro. You're hurting the franchise you're hurting the franchise staying a quarterback. So you're not the same quarterback. You're never gonna win a Super Bowl title as long as you got to compete with the Baltimore Ravens. So, bro, you need to retire.
Bro,
In my opinion,
we just had a major upset today
and what's that?
in college basketball.
What's that?
Rutgers took down number 1 Purdue.
Interesting.
After they was named number 1 this week, Rutgers took them down.
Interesting.
And Seton Hall Seton Hall put down Shaka Smart now.
Well, he's got to develop the talent there in Milwaukee. Anyway, so I'm not shocked by that. He's just not getting there too. So
Memphis
he's just
struggling.
not
Shit? I ain't got ESPN Plus. They want to pay for this shit. What's wrong? Okay, Jimmy. Well, I'm gonna steal this question from Memphis and ask this to you, so we close out the show.
right.
What's wrong with Memphis, and is it fixable?
Basketball?
Yes.
It's fixable, but let's be honest. Penny got to hold some accountability to what's going on. If the locker room is going to hell, he's got to be he's got to hold him, he's got to hold some accountability. Cause you getting mad talking about y'all gotta compete and you gotta school these guys. No, it's the job of the coach. Yes, certain players are gonna demand greatness, but who on that team that's gonna demand greatness? We don't know that. So it's your job to demand greatness from these players, not the players' job. So until you get that leader on the team, it's 100% your fault, bro. You've been here 4 years. Yes, you're the only coach to have 4 consecutive seasons of 20 wins and stuff like that in your first 4 years at Memphis. But here's the thing, though, bro. You have not made an NCAA tournament, and that's what you got to get over that hump. And here's another thing I have a problem with Penny, bro. You've been to the NBA. You've been where these players have already been. No, you haven't won an NBA championship. Got awful close had Nick Anderson hadn't to miss those free throws, because that's an example of how momentum swing in the direction of another team. But what ended up happening is after missed free throws, the Rockets just went on and took care of business. Which I never thought the Rockets was even the Rockets Orlando Magic was even a threat to the Rockets. But I'm saying that's the closest he's ever been to a championship. But nevertheless, you've been in the NBA. You've been a 4-time All-Star, an Olympic gold medalist, arguably a Hall of Famer. You can make a strong case that had he not gotten injured, he probably would be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But nevertheless, you've been where these kids been. You've been to the NCAA tournament. Had you not ran into, you probably would have went to the Final Four. Probably would have got your ass kicked in the Final Four, but you would have got into the Final Four had you not ran into Cincinnati. But that's just the way the NCAA.
But Cincinnati, but Cincinnati, either way, like you said, they would have got their ass kicked by the Fab Five, and they really would got their ass kicked by the Fluke Devils.
Yeah,
but that Cincinnati ass kicking from the opening tip, the way Cincinnati was beating their ass, it was over.
Yeah, and it got worse every game. it got worse.
And then when they played, and then they was mad. And I remember what was that? I think they were like a 3rd seed or a 4th seed. No, they were a 7th seed.
7th seed.
The following year, they were in the following year, and they was talking shit about West Kentucky. They talking about they were garbage. Man, West Kentucky put their ass out with no problem.
Well, it was a close game. It wasn't a blowout, but they just didn't have the shooting touch. And then David Vaughn being injured, getting knocked out by that Arkansas game, that didn't help. They didn't help their cause at all. So, nevertheless, he's been where these kids been.
Right.
Granted, every great player is not going to be a great coach. Lenny Wilkens is an exception to the rule. Bill Sharman was an exception to the rule. Jason Kidd, the jury's out on him, but I think he done a great job with Giannis. He did mentor Giannis into being a great player. And I think ultimately he would have won a championship. He would have gotten the championship that Craig Budenholzer when he ain't being booty holer. In the words of Too Raw for TV.
You mean Mike Budenholzer?
Mike Budenholzer, yeah. Mike Booty Holer, when he ain't Mike Booty Holer when he ain't doing his job, Jason Kidd would have gotten that championship at some point had the general management and the ownership had not been against Jason Kidd. You know what I'm saying? That was the issue there. You know what I'm saying? Because even Giannis had stood up for Jason Kidd and said, "Where you going?" And he's like, "It's too late now." You know what I'm saying? But and according to Jason Kidd, he still talks to Giannis from time to time. They talk often because he was there when his first child was born. According to Jason Kidd, this is according to him. I'm going by what Jason Kidd is saying, and I believe him because he made a 6'8" kid. Because Giannis was 6'8" going into the NBA. He ended up 7 feet tall, 6'11", depending on who you're talking to. He made him into the player that he was in. But again, the jury is still out on him being a great coach. but not every great player is going to be a great coach, because when it comes to coaching, it's a methodology, it's a system of principles that you have to follow in order to be a great coach. That's why the garbage player on the team usually makes a great coach. Why? Because he's been sitting studying the game of basketball versus being the egotistical star of the team. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's not to say Coach K was a garbage player. He was a pretty decent basketball player under Bobby Knight at Army. It was just he was never going to make it to the NBA, but he was a great coach. Phil
Yep.
Jackson was not the best player on the team, hell of a defensive player, but you know what I'm saying. What ended up happening was he studied the game of basketball, playing with Willis Reed, Earl the Pearl Monroe, Walt Frazier, Jerry Lucas, Bill Bradley. Played with 5, 6 different Hall of Famers. Studied the game of basketball, learned Texas winners, the late Tex winners triangle offense, and became the greatest NBA coach in history. You know what I'm saying? So everybody ain't gonna be able to become a great player. I don't give a damn how great of a player you are. You gotta understand that there's levels to this. It takes more than just being a great player to be a coach. You got not only got to have a methodology in place, you also gotta understand of how to be a great motivator as well as a coach, be a great mentor as well as a coach. You recruited these kids off your name, Penny Hardaway. But what are you doing to mentor these kids? What are you doing to make these people a better player outside of basketball? That's what made Jackson great, regardless of the rumors that going on with Mike with Phil Jackson or whatever. He got their inner game on. He had meditation things. This is according to people that I know. That he had those guys meditating. He had those guys reading books and stuff like that, and
Yeah, that's true.
got their mentality ready to where they was able to play to gel
Solomon
as a
Dennis
team.
Rodman said he did that shit. He said, man, it helped him a lot. And like, oh,
Right.
yet he said, him, Dennis, him being religious, but and he said Phil Jackson being a Zen Buddhist,
Hmm.
shit, he said that should help.
Right. It was a lot of meditation and all types of meditation and self-medication and stuff like that. He would do things that it would be like, what the hell, most people would be like, what is this shit right here? So it takes more than just being Penny Hardaway to be a coach. After you get through becoming Penny Hardaway, they'd be like, "Oh, I love to play for Penny Hardaway and all that." After you get through the starstruckness, that starstruckness gonna go out the window once they find out you a slow ass coach.
Yep.
Once they find out, oh, I played for Penny Hardaway, that's gonna go out the window. You gonna man, you a slow ass coach. You don't know what the fuck you talking about. You can't motivate me. You can't give me any kind of principles that's gonna make me a better person or make me a better player. Because that's the thing about coaching. Coaching is beyond. It's not just X's and O's. You gotta know what to say to this player to make this player get right. Sometimes X's and O's just ain't gonna work. Sometimes you just gotta motivate these guys. So you getting on national TV and the newspaper, saying this and that, that's uncalled for. That you shouldn't be throwing your team under the bus like that. You got to have that conversation with your team. Don't have the conversation with the uh, pump, whole commercial appeal. You know what I'm saying? Or whole Marshall in my fields and all that other type of shit, or the Daily Memphian or whatever the fuck. You need to have that conversation with those guys and motivate those guys. Because if you can't motivate them, what's the use of you being a coach? And again, like I told Corey Wolf, and I'm gonna tell the national public, I don't want Penny Hardaway to get fired from this job.
Me
I
either.
mean, if at anything, if he can't be up to the task, turn in your resignation paper. If you're not up to this task to get all the number one, you've had 2 number 1 recruiting classes in 4 fucking years. If you're not up to the task, just resign, bro. If you can't do the job, resign. If you can't get Memphis to the tournament, resign. But don't just go on. Don't just be going off. It's a fixable issue. You just need to get on your methodology game in your motivational game, because that's what it all comes down to. Guys that are great players, they know how to self motivate, but can you motivate your teammate? Can you coach your teammate? So it's a fixable problem, but Penny's got to figure that shit out, and he's been there. He's been there, so he's got to figure it out. That's my best answer
Okay.
today.
All right, I'm pulling up something. And shout out to my girl, JBiana, JBiana Janae, because she shared something with what Amani Bates said. And this is what he said. He said, "Yeah, so we lost 3 in a row. This is our preseason right here. We got 7 freshmen on this squad, 7 guys from different parts of the U.S. who ain't spent more than a few hours together before August, been practicing together for a few months, and playing together for a handful of games. We are young. We're going to make mistakes and lose games. We're going to get better. If you feel the need to criticize our performance, keep it out of our ears. You're not helping the problem. You're contributing to the problem.
No,
We
we
are
have
right.
a
Whoa, hold up. Hold the thought. I'm going to read that again so that way you can footnote that. If you feel the
right.
need to criticize our performance, keep it out of our ears. You're not helping the problem. You're contributing to the problem. We right in the middle of finals, and some of y'all want to talk noise about how our head aren't in the games. It's student athlete, not athlete student. We don't need you jumping in our DMs to tell us what we need to be doing better. That's why we got coaches and mentors. We're gonna get there.
Criticism is going to happen. Now, I don't like people being personal. There's a difference between being personal and being talking about the game of basketball.
That
You
was
know,
personal to me.
but I'm
And he a
speaking.
freshman. He a freshman. I felt his comments was a little bit too personal
uh,
because
and
he feels some kind of way.
he feeling some
Yeah, I
kind of
mean,
way. But you should expect that. I mean, as long as nobody's calling your mama out or doing something outside of the game, take that L. People's gonna criticize you. That's a part of, as long as they're not getting personal, as long as they're not demeaning you, it's fair game, because people are fans of the game. We're fans of the game. We want to see Memphis succeed. But if you're not willing to succeed, then don't put on that damn uniform. Simple as that. Go commit to USC. Go commit to Ultra Lame University. Go commit to Texas Stankin' M University in basketball. You know, and I think as long as the fans keep it within the realm of basketball, the criticism is fair. Long
mm-hmm.
as they ain't disrespectful as hell or cussing you out or nothing like that in your DMs. You know what I'm saying? But main thing is fair game. What you going through is fair game. Expect it. You know what I'm saying? Expect it and rise above it. You know what I'm saying? People are going to criticize you. That's happening. Long as they're not disrespecting you, I think that's where it comes in. You know, I think that's where the problem comes in. But if we're not contributing to the problem, we want to see you do good. If a real fan's gonna want to see you do good, now some upset fan, like the movie The Fan with Robert De Niro and Wesley
Yeah,
Snipes.
man, that shit that was crazy, boy.
That's too much right there. But
Yeah, that was crazy there.
that's too much right there. That it shouldn't go to that level. But nevertheless, everything is fair game. So take that L and get better. And that's all we want you to do.
Yep.
Get better. We want to see all these guys do better. But you're gonna have to hold that L and get
Yeah.
better. The best way to shut critics up is success. That's the best way to shut
Play
the
better.
motherfuckers up. Play better and become successful. That's all you
I
need
look
to
at it
do.
like this. Our boy, we Carolina Tar Heel basketball fans. Roy Williams. Here's something we didn't know. That 08 to 09 team, which I say I'm buying as Roy Williams' best team to ever win a national title. He had endured a lot of criticism before that season, and what happened? Man, they were blowing motherfuckers out.
Yep.
You know, but they were blowing motherfuckers out. He used that He said he used that criticism as fuel for all of them. Tyler Hansborough, well, what's his name? Raymond Felton. Man, them dudes is blowing everybody out the water, man, and won a national title. Even though I don't know why Murph said the 04-05 championship team was the best to him. No, here's the thing. 08-09, everybody's still in the NBA. 04-05 team, they're not. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Amadi Bates talking about y'all lost three, they lost 3 in a row. Okay, use that 3 in a row that y'all lost some motivation and win at least 13 in a row.
Exactly. Win 20 in a row. Win the national title. Don't. I mean, you can do better. There's no reason why you should lose the old piss. There's no reason why you should lose to Iowa State. If you comparing all the teams you lost to, Iowa State,
That Iowa State is a good loss. Listen, between Iowa State, Georgia, and Ole Miss,
it don't matter.
Georgia and Ole Miss are bad losses. Iowa State is a good loss. Despite the blowout, it's a good
because of talent discrepancy. All the teams they
True.
lost to were the talent discrepancy is there. So that's why we expect more. We expect bigger of you. That's why we own your ass. There's no reason why. If you had a loss by 3 points against Iowa State, I can take that loss. But losing to Georgia at home, who's probably ain't gonna even make the NCAA tournament, Ole Miss, unless they beat Kentucky, I don't know if they're playing it at the Tad Pad or whatever. But unless they beat Kentucky or Arkansas in the same year, they're probably not going to make the NCAA tournament.
Yeah,
they're probably not going to make the NCAA tournament. So we expect greater things from you. If you talk about you're a top level recruit, because most of these guys are top level recruits, we expect greatness from you. If you're on top rivals, top 10, top 20, we expect greatness from you. So yeah, man, step your game up. Don't get mad at us for, wanting bigger and better things for you. You got to do better. Just do better. That's all I ask of them.
Yeah. But for Monty Bates to say some shit like that, man, and I think you just dwelled on it. If you feel need to criticize our performance, keep it out of our ears. You're not helping the problem. You're contributing to the problem. Well, in the spin of things, y'all are contributing to the problem of Memphis fans too, because the Memphis fan base, when it comes to basketball, they're a diva fan base. They're going to let you know again when they get sick and tired of the same old shit they see from y'all.
Yep.
It's just true. Like Jimmy said, shit, you going to endure some criticism. So, Monty, kid, you're gonna endure some criticism, kid, and it's called part of life. And you're a teenager, man. You can't say you ain't enduring no criticism when you're during your during your high school career, growing up in high school about this and about that. So you can't sit up here and John some old school guys like us and say you ain't never dealt with no criticism. Trust me, you had to. And even though, and another thing I feel them on, hey, I don't like to be criticized. I don't like to be criticized either. Right. But when Memphis fans are tired of seeing the same old shit from y'all, they have a right to criticize.
Right.
And that's sound on that. Don't nobody want to keep seeing you. If you wide open for a 3-pointer, you got to think about shooting, then you're going to turn around and pass the ball. I'm just saying, I don't know what he's doing. I'm just saying that as an example. But, and really, it's some, like I said, some of these basketball players and stuff like that. Like, shout out to my little cousin, Caleb Boogie Brooks. And Jimmy, you and Corey saw some highlights of his game. From different games he was playing. He's playing point guard. I never told him, but he's got some flaws in his game too. So, but folks to say, Craig, you don't know nothing about basketball because you never played it. Yes, I have. Not organized basketball, but I played it as a hobby. I played it as a sport. You know, I'm not. You know, there's some, like I said, there's some flaws in his game that, you know, I'm not. I don't want to dwell on and stuff like that. But well, he'll be a senior next. He'll be graduating next year. So this coming up, he's class of 2022. So well, wherever he goes, long as it ain't with Cal the Crook, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That'll hurt my feelings. And Caleb, if you listening, I want you to hear this. If you go to that damn Crook, John Calipari, and play for him, I will eat a large order. I will eat a large order of blazing buffalo wings like I did the last time on here, nonstop, and wash it down with some Jack Daniels drunken out my shoe. Because if that don't kill me, I don't know what will. I always said, man, all y'all kids can play for anybody. Y'all can play for anybody else except for, long as they ain't Cal the Crook. Yeah, and everybody know who Cal the Crook, John Calipari.
Oh, hands down, bro. Hands down. I mean, he trash. I mean,
he is trash. And if Caleb decided to go play for that fool, I'll have my face to the toilet bowl. I have my face to the toilet bowl all day.
Oh no! Oh no! And that's a little bit too much. Oh no! Oh no!
I'm just being funny. I'm being funny. No,
you bet not.
But no, I don't do no shit like that. I'm being funny, but no. That'll hurt my soul. Caleb sign with Kentucky, but knowing him, he gonna probably sign with Memphis. Ain't no telling.
Yeah.
As much as I don't like the Pew Devils, though. Damn, Coach K ain't go. Damn. Well, I'm buying on Caleb signing with Memphis. So shout out to my guy Caleb Brooks, man. You can sign with any other team. I don't care what your mom and your daddy say. Don't sign with Cal the Crook. Cause your cuz said so. Don't sign with Cal the Crook. Shit. But other than that, man, you got anything on that? Cause I got nothing.
Man, I ain't got nothing else, man. But great show, man, and we'll find some more people to roast. But at any event, once again, this your boy, live and direct in full effect out the 832 with my homeboy out the 662, and y'all already know how we do. Peace, good night, and be safe out there.
And the pleasure has been all yours.